Hi guys, just going to pop up a quick preview for Launceston on Wednesday night. Rail back in the true, was out 9 last time, so should be back on some untried ground. Says soft 5, been sort of overcast, humid day in Launceston today, which is Tuesday. Meant to be similar weather tomorrow and quite warm, sort of mid-20s, so always a bit of a worry there. The track seems to, if it's hot, sort of plays leaderish no matter where the rail is. So, but the one thing, obviously, all these rail movements, obviously it does create patterns. But I suppose if you look big picture, if they didn't keep moving the rail around when you race every week for 6 months, the track would be RS by Christmas time. So we've got to cop it for the greater good. But anyway, it's only 7 races, smallish fields, tending to cannibalise each other when we race sort of 2 times in a week. A few shorties, like if we look, we've got El Da Vinci, Savs Finale, Speed and Over. Doesn't leave much sort of meat on the bone re-value, so I'll probably just pick a couple out that I like at a little bit of value. So in the first, over the 1400, we've got Needs a Scotch, GG's Magic Man. Fontainale was pretty good last week, but got doubts about the strength of that race. The time was dreadful. La Dernière Fille was pretty good first up in a fair race. Posh Pursuits gone good as well. So even GG Rock Opera's hit the line, and Gracious has shown a bit last time. First up run left a bit to be desired, but just from the value perspective, the one I've said on here is Posh Pursuit. Like, it arrived from Victoria with pretty average form. If we just, and first up it went round at like 200 to 1. You can see 8 starts for duck eggs, but first up in Launceston ran 8th at $151, beaten a length and a half. And then last week was actually very good as well in another 1200 metre race. Gets out to 1400 here, and savaged the line both times. Actually Needs a Scotch was in the same race first up. We just have a look at this. So where's the Vern Poke colours, the pink with the yellow sleeves. So here it is here, out the back, second last. And here's the Needs a Scotch, who lobs leaders back. So you can see here's the Vern Poke horse, so back second last. So you're just extreme outside. And favourite leaders back. It's not in the picture at the moment, but you just see it savages a line. This is 1200, gets out to 1400. Yeah, so like that. And there, so I actually had something on it last week at big odds at 50s. Each
Locked
way.
away.
And runs 4th last week, but this is another 1200 metre race. So here it is here. It was virtually 4 deep, no cover, the trip. So he tries to get in here, and the horse inside just... You can see it's like 4 deep, no cover, the entire. And here it is. Second from the outside. Maybe this is 1200 metres. Again, gets out to 1400 this time. No, don't think there's too much doubt it wins that race if it had the same run the winner had. So I was able to save ground through the inside on the turn. So I think you could do worse. I think it's about $9 currently. Obviously it was pretty close to Needs a Scotch the other day. GG's Magic Man probably comes through the strongest race. Was in the right spot the other day. Does draw 16, but there's not a great deal of exposed early speed here, so I can see it being nice and handy very early despite the poor draw. So pretty recommended bet in race 1. Have something on both GG's Magic Man and Posh Pursuit. And you've got virtually both bases covered if it's on speed dominated or if horses can run home. So I think we can back both of them. The second tough race, I'm not too keen on anything. If you want to have something on a bolter, Rian's Diamond wasn't too bad against the pattern last time. I think it's about $21 currently. Probably needs a bit of cut out of the ground. That's the issue. It also draws terribly and will get back. So GG Rich Ruby's probably the one. You know what you're going to get on speed, in form. Yeah, but not a race I'm overly keen on the second. The third's probably the one I'm most keen on all night, which is Ollie's a Star. He doesn't win out of turn, but you're getting the right type of price. You know, never far away. You can see obviously 4 wins and 15 placings. Track and distance with his 13 starts for 7 placings. You're copying about $6 at the moment. Last time over the same track and distance, he was 3 and 4 deep from the 800 no cover and kept boxing on all the way to the line. Yeah, we might have a quick look at that. I'll just queue up the replay. Right, so here's Ollie's a Star. So if we have a look, and first up,
the night over the 6th.
First up, he was well supported and they walked, and they also walked in this race. He's hit the line well in both of them. So you can see here he's out the back last, and they're just jog trotting. So he's last here. Same track and distance. So Tegan takes off here, and he also gets shoved 4 deep. No cover, and this is it's actually not the worst ride in the world. It's a lot better than it looked. If you sat back when they put the speed on now, there's no chance anyway. And this is a night where every winner rode the fence, and he's out in the inferior ground. And it looks as if he's going to be struggling here because he's made the long sustained run, but he just digs in again the last 100 metres. So you got a couple in the race here, Ramadi Bullet, Super Leanne, both in the race tomorrow night. So you just see like he's strong on the line there still. So I just really like him each way. Like you never be overconfident with him as a winning prospect, but I think he's about $6, $2.25 around that at the moment. As far as each way bets go, you could do far worse and have something on Ollie's a Star, and as I mentioned, on a night without much value, he's probably the one on the card that I'm the keenest on. In the fourth, Earl Da Vinci probably got beaten for a bit of speed. His only sort of drawback as a horse is he lacks high speed, and that turned into a funnily run race, and they zipped home in pretty good sectionals, and he got out kicked. I think he'll be sort of camping on Mr. America here, and the Chooks is dragging with the claim, gets in well, barrier 1 as well, but still be surprised if Earl Da Vinci gets beaten. As I mentioned, the other 2 races in the 5th, Sav's Finale, I just thought he was a moral, but the more I look at it, I'm just a tad concerned. Still think he wins at his on dry ground. I don't think he's as superior to them if it's a good track as it would be if there was any cut out of the ground. But do think he wins. He's probably the most confident on any horse all night, but just that dry track query. And Speed and Over just flies fresh. The Action's flying, but Speed on Over, like, trials have been super. 2 starts first up for 2 wins. Barrier 1, it's a lot of weight for a mare, but I do think she wins. But the other one that I'll probably have something on is Ken from the Bar in the 6th. So we'll get about sort of near double figures. He was heavily backed last time, and I put my hand up and I was one of them. He was 950 into 480. He led, and it was pretty disappointing, if truth be told. The one thing about this race, though, there is a ton of speed. If we just have a look at them, we've got Ems Gem, Knitting, GG Top Tip, Miss Smith. They're all going to go forward. Ken from the Bar's drawn 2. You'll get the nice soft run. Miss Smith's definitely going to race handy. You imagine he's ridden cold this time, so on the assumption Miss Smith kicks up and leads, you'd imagine Ken from the Bar trails through into a perfect spot. First up, he was very good. Might just go and have his first up run because he's going to be in a similar spot to ridden with cover, so I'll just grab that one. Right, so Ken from the Bar, so he's got the Stevenson colours on, the I'm Wesley colours. So this is first up in Hobart. So he's got blinkers on as well. So you can see he's out wide here. It's actually a pretty good ride this day. Yeah, like he's stuck 4 deep, so he goes back in and it's the fence. So you've got Miss Smith here, who's going to be one of the favourites in the race. So out of the race, you've got GG Queen Bee. Both first and second in this race came out and won their next start. He's Ken from the Bar, trailing through on the inside. You can see he's pretty strong late, and if he gets similar type, this is what I'm punting on, getting a similar type of run to what he gets here. So you've got Miss Smith here, who's the horse he's drawn to trial tomorrow night. You know, and you're getting about, I think he's at $9 at the moment, but you couldn't see him being, after the way he finished off last time, you couldn't see having the same amount of support. Might just have a look at the last start.
For the 6th of the night.
So he's kicked through and leading. You've got Ems Gem outside, who definitely goes better on this night, but if you take it on face value, like he's probably not as adept at leading as racing with cover, and he still only gets about a length behind Ems Gem. So he only gets tied here, is Ems Gem there. So just think with cover each way, about $9 or $10 I think might be the way to go. So just confirming then, the best bet is race 3, number 3, Ollie's a Star. As I mentioned, I'll be very disappointed if he doesn't run top 4 and you're copping $6. So, and I do think he's actually the best horse in the race. So very happy to get invested there. In the first, something like both on GG's Magic Man and Posh Pursuit is a tough race, but they're the two that I'm leaning towards. And in the 6th race on number 5, Ken from the Bar. Another thing I just didn't mention either, like with Brianna's Claim, gets in a lot better at the weights than those other times when it raced the oppositions. And you see, obviously had senior jockey on both times, and Brianna actually rode him once and went good in a pretty handy race at Devonport behind Century Arrow. So it's proven that the horse does run for her as well. So yeah, no, happy with those trio. As I said, one of them we win for the night. A couple of them run a place and you almost break square. But so we might just leave it there. Forced to pick one. As I mentioned, Sav's Finale is probably the one I'm gun to my head and pick one winner for the night. But just I do have slight reservations, and when you're taking like 5 to 4, you don't need to question marks, etc. But if it does rain, take that 5 to 4 for as much as you like. Anyway, so anyway, guys, I'll wrap it up there. I'll try and keep them short, but that's the plan every week. But I do tend to prattle on, so we'll wrap it up there, and we might pop up something later in the week. So until then, cheers.